Hey, happy Saturday. It is the Follow Through. We're kind of ending out the week where we've been following through on what we heard on Sunday. That's what this is about. And we're just going to kind of say, okay, we don't want that word just sitting there, that sermon just sitting there. We want it to continue to do its work in our hearts, that we go out and serve Him and follow and do all of that, right? So follow through. Today, Matthew 9:37 to 38, right? So we got two verses on tap here, and I'm going to back up a little bit because I think this whole section is great. So starting at 35, we see that Jesus is going through all the cities, the villages, teaching in their synagogues. He's proclaiming the gospel of the kingdom, healing every disease and every affliction. So you just kind of picture like this is the Son of God, right? Come down from heaven, right? Born of the Virgin Mary. He is true God, true man, and he is just like showing what it looks like when God is with us. Because he's literally there with those people doing things that only God can do, healing and bringing this good news of his rule in the world, in our lives. And here's verse 36 is the one I really want us to look at, because I think it's going to make the other ones make have more of an impact. It says that when Jesus saw the crowds, he had compassion on them because they were harassed and they were helpless. They were like sheep without a shepherd. And so after seeing that, right, this moves Jesus. And that should say something. That like if we're not moved by the hurting in our world, and we're not moved by the people with this coronavirus situation that are our healthcare workers, our law enforcement, people that have to go to work, they're a lot of them literally right there with the people that are affected, and many of them, I mean, it's right, there's a good chance that it's going to happen, that they're going to get this, but they don't care. They're like, okay, I'm going. They have compassion. Now again, compassion for us, I mean, I think I'm not a healthcare worker, so right, my job in this is to kind of sort of keep my distance and not spread anything that I might have, or get something and then spread it. But there's still that compassion, right? I pray there's still that thing when we look at people, we see how harassed they are, we see how helpless they are, and they need the shepherd. They need Jesus. They need to know that he's there. And so here's our two verses. So Jesus looks at all that, and then he says to his disciples, he says, look, the harvest is plentiful. In other words, there's so many people that are hurting, so many people that need to hear this, and so many people in whose lives God is working. But here's the problem, that there's few laborers. There's very few to like take that harvest and process it and do what needs to be done, like caring for the people and doing that. So he says that we should pray earnestly to the Lord of the harvest to send out laborers into his harvest. That's what we need. One of the things I put on my phone is at 10 o'clock every day, it tells me to pray for workers. And what I do is I pray for existing workers, right? People who are out there bringing the gospel right here, right now, but others hearts might be moved. And not just to go to seminary and to be a preacher, but for every one of us who says, hey, I'm a follower of Christ, that fire is in them, and that compassion that Jesus had, right? Because if I'm following Jesus, he has compassion. He's going to where people have a need, and when they're harassed and helpless, and where they're harassed and helpless. So if I'm following him, that's where I'm going to be, in the middle of those people, bringing him and his hope to them. So this isn't just a prayer that God would send somebody else, but that God would say and impress upon us that we would go, and that we would tell them that there's hope, that we would tell them that there's a God who has sacrificed everything to win them back, so that they no longer have to go through life harassed and helpless. Because as the psalmist says, we look to the hills, and where does our help come from? It comes from the Lord. The one who made the heavens and the earth is the one who is with us. So let's go and let's tell. Let's share it with the world today as we follow through. All right, it's been a good week. We'll catch this again on Monday with another video, and we'll just launch into a whole week of some great readings and some great words from the Lord. All right, take care. We'll see you next week.